Hi, thanks for joining me at Meditation and Wellness with Jules. So today we're going to look at anxiety and how can you recover from anxiety. So anxiety is our body's natural response to threat or immediate danger. Our body is preparing us for the fight, flight response. It can be a trauma response as well if we've had an incident or an event, and it can be unprocessed and blocked processing, and it can then lead to anxiety. But when there hasn't been any situation or anything that happens with anxiety, it's our faulty alarm. It can be due to stresses and things that have happened throughout our life, and it can leave us with this constant state of anxiety, and we can become hypervigilant, searching and scanning for any possible dangers. And this is via our amygdala, the emotional brain, of where we can then respond from this place emotionally and feeling like there is a threat or a danger, but there isn't anything there. So then the effects that we'd get with anxiety, so our heart would start racing, it'd be thumping, we could get hot and sweaty, clammy hands, it changes our breathing, we'd breathe faster, we could get a churning stomach, we can get headaches or feel lightheaded and dizzy, we can get nauseous and feeling sick. These are just few of the symptoms we can get physiologically when we're experiencing anxiety, and it can also lead to panic attacks. So we're going to look at some aspects of the brain, parts of the brain and the limbic system of where the anxiety is coming from. So the amygdala is our emotional brain. So it detects threats, it's our alarm bell for actually any dangers and stress. It tells us when there is something wrong. And then what it does, it leads to a stress response within our body, so the fight flight response. So the amygdala becomes overactive or oversensitive when there's anxiety. It's scanning all the time, looking out, and it becomes heightened, and it has then an exaggerated response to fear and threats. Whether they're real or perceived, it can't tell the difference. It's just the response that we would be getting, and we notice that from our amygdala. So it would be looking out for these responses once we become heightened. So the hypothalamus as well with anxiety, it relays signals to the amygdala. So it's a stress response. It releases cortisol and adrenaline throughout our body, and it regulates the autonomic nervous system. It controls involuntary body functions like the heart rate and our breathing. So the hippocampus and anxiety, it's for forming new memories and processing existing and old memories. It also plays a part in regulating our emotional responses to things. And also it can alter our memory processing. It also can contribute to the experience of anxiety, because then we can have this altered thought process around anxiety and perceives all real threats. So we're scanning out and looking, and we're thinking things are dangerous or a threat or anxiety provoking where there is really no danger there. So for instance, maybe crowds, a lot of people can fear and get anxiety within crowds or groups of people, but there isn't really any danger and fear in being just out in a crowd or a group of people. It's just your body's response in telling you there is a possible perceived threat and danger there. So you're then becoming hypervigilant. And this is what we're going to look at changing in a moment. So the thalamus and anxiety, it's directly connected to the amygdala. It relays the sensory information around anxiety or any sensory information. So the emotional processing, whether it's a real threat or a perceived threat, again, it's connected as well. So the sensory stress and threats, so it relays them as well, and it alters the brain activity, contributing to the anxiety and fear. So we can then have an inaccurate feeling and response and emotions around it, because like I said before, there isn't any really threat. It's just your body thinking there is a perceived threat. The prefrontal cortex is responsible for decision making and planning, so it's more of our rational brain. It helps us regulate emotional responses. It's less effective at regulating the emotions and possibly leading to heightened sense of anxiety, which can then lead us to avoidance in situations, which then it keeps the anxiety going, and you're in this vicious cycle of always having an anxiety and a stress response when you're putting yourself in these positions, because your body is just responding in that way. So anxiety is a natural human response. It's triggered by real or perceived threats and stresses in situations. It triggers the fight or flight response, and it releases hormones like adrenaline and cortisol in the body. So we actually need this fight and flight response, because that's crucial for us to survive if there is immediate danger or there is an immediate threat. So with anxiety, like I mentioned, it's our body's faulty alarm. If there is real no danger or threat, it's scanning and it's looking. So our body and our brain becomes hypervigilant. It's scanning, looking for these dangers, thinking there's dangers. But it just leads to avoidance, it leads to panic attacks, it leads to the negative automatic thoughts about ourselves, others, and the world. Physiologically, it can make us become unwell. We can get illnesses because it lowers our immune system. It can then lead to people not working and not fully functioning in life. But there is help out there, okay? So this is just your body's response. So EMDR therapy will process anything that's going on with your body, where there are events, and looking at what is triggering you, what's going on for you. So EMDR therapy actually helps you to recover fully from anxiety. There's just trauma somewhere in your life, and it's working out what is making you feel anxious and what's giving you this sense of panic. Why is your body responding this way? So EMDR therapy is the way forward for recovery. You could have CBT, you could have exposure therapy, and it's exposing yourself slowly and doing a hierarchy of events and putting yourself out there, so you're habituating to these. You could also do that if you're preferring to go down the CBT route. You can have cognitive restriction, you can look at and you can challenge your thoughts. Meditation is really good because it's going to help calm you down and regulate you. Mindfulness is a really good practice as well. And challenge yourself. Put yourself back out there. Seek help, seek support, step out of your comfort zone. Because staying as you are, you're not going to get change. And what persists will resist. Or what you resist will persist. The other way around. It will keep going. So if you're resisting that change, it's going to persist. It's still going to be there. So keep going, okay? You can get help and support. Don't suffer with anxiety for the rest of your life. I've had clients come to me in their 60s and 70s who have lived with anxiety for 40, 50 years of their life. You don't need to do it. Live your life now. Seek help. Seek support. You can see more information on my website at freedomwithin.co.uk, and I've also put a link in there to CCI. There's a workbook on there for anxiety. But there is help and support out there. So please, people, please, please, please do not suffer. Live the life you want. Live the life that you want to do. All the things you want to do with your life. Your hopes, your dreams, your goals. You can do this. You don't need to stay stuck in what something that's happened to you in the past, or someone has said something to you that you can't do something, or there's been something debilitating that's happened. You can recover. You can be okay. That's in the past. Leave it in the past. It's really important what you do here and now. So pick up the phone, email me, give me a call. I'm here to help and support you to reach your goals and to do whatever you're wanting to do in your life, and to believe in yourself, because you can do this. Okay? So I'm hoping you're going to reach out, if it's not to me, to someone. You deserve to live the life you want. Thanks for listening at Meditation and Wellness with Jules.